What's up guys? In this video we're going to be exploring, are you learning poker effectively? Now when it comes to learning, there's two models that you need to know about, and I'm going to share them with you in a nice graph format, as I know poker players love a graph. Now if you're new to the channel, my name is Adam Carmichael. I'm a mindset performance coach who specializes in helping poker players to reach that peak level of performance. Now when it comes to learning, there's two things that you need to know about, and the first one is the forgetting curve. Alright, so it looks a bit like this. Now, this is retention, how much information you retain relative to your time since learning. So, what this basically means is we forget information over time. Now, if you cram your studying in, if you cram your learning in, what happens is you forget it as time goes on. Now, just to give an example, I did a degree in sports science and I completely neglected this forgetting curve. I completely neglected it, and as a result I would cram the days for my exams. If I was lucky, I would just retain my information long enough to pass the exam, then completely forgot it. And if I look back, a lot of the information I learned through those studying times, I forgot. Why? Because I didn't space it out. So you forget information over time. Now, some scary stats to share with you guys before I show you what to do about it is we forget 50% of the information we learn within 1 hour. So 50% gets forgotten. And we forget 70% on average of the information we learn within 24 hours. Pretty demotivating, right? 70% gets forgotten within 24 hours. So, this is all well and good. You may be going, thanks Adam, thanks for the motivation. I'm really going to go and study now. But what can you do about this? So, because we forget our information, about 70% within a day, how can we fight back? How can we battle back against it? And the way you do is spaced repetition. Spaced repetition. So when you learn something, you've got to acknowledge that within 24 hours, you're going to forget a lot of it. So you can accept that, or you can re-go over what you learned. So when you're trying to learn something new, whether it's a poker strategy, whether it's some mindset tips, whether it's a new language, you need to, every day, keep doing a small bit of it. So learn it again. So write good notes when you're learning and revisit it the following day. Revisit it the following day. And as it gets more ingrained, you can space it out more. So maybe once a week, once every few weeks, but you've got to have that repetition. It's so key. When you're trying to learn poker concepts, what I get the players I work with to do is have a good study routine, take good detailed notes, and then the following day before you start your session, put some of those study notes into your warm-up routine. So you've got this consistent system. Every day, I learned that, reinforce it, and over time, you're going to remember more and more of it, and it gets retained. It's really important to not neglect this one. Like I said, looking back at my uni degree, there's a lot of modules. I'm not even sure if I actually did them because I forgot so much. So we've got to fight back against this retention model and the forgetting curve. All right, the second thing you've got to know about is this model, which is the primacy recency model, and it looks like an inverted U. So again, we've got retention of information and we've got time passed, and this is primacy. So this is the first thing we learn. I'll explain this in a second. And then we've got recency. So in simple terms, what this means is when we're learning something, we remember the first part of it and the last part of it, and we forget the middle. So remember the first, say, 20 minutes of a study session and the last 20, and we forget what's in between. Okay, we forget what's in between. The brain doesn't remember that middle gap. So, again, I'm going to tell you how to battle back against this in a second, but it's really good to acknowledge this. If you're somebody who likes to study for 2, 3, 4 hours without breaks, you're going to forget a big chunk in the middle, which is funny because, like, me preparing for this video, I actually did 2 hours of reading without a break, which is very rare for me. And as a result, I really remember the first 20 minutes, and I really remember the last 20. And then as I was picking my brain, I was like, what did I read in the middle? And I forgot. I forgot this big middle chunk. Why? Because that's how the brain works. It doesn't retain what's in the middle. So how do you battle back against this? How can you understand this and still retain information and learn a lot? The key is regular breaks. Regular breaks. Now the most extreme one is called the Pomodoro. Okay, Pomodoro. You guys might be familiar with this. And the Pomodoro technique is basically where you have 25 minutes of studying, working on something. So you might be doing some solver work or working some strategy stuff, and then you have a 5-minute break. And then you do 25 minutes, then a 5-minute break. Why is that effective? It's effective because now you've got more start times, more end times. If you think about it, you only remember You only really remember the thing at the start and the thing at the end. So if you have more breaks, you've got more times to start and more times to finish. So you increase those number of times and you decrease this time in the middle between start and end, so it narrows down. So yeah, the most extreme one is 25 minutes and 5 minutes break. And what you do in that 5-minute break is you write down what you learned. So study for 25 minutes, take a break from it, write down what you've learned in those 25 minutes, then do another 25 minutes and write it down. Now you don't need to stick to these time restrictions. Very often I do something like 45 minutes or 50 minutes. I'll read in the morning for like about 50 minutes and then I'll write down for 5 or 10 minutes what I've learned from that. Yeah, really, really effective. And it gets you to recall stuff and it gets you to, yes, narrow those ranges where you're forgetting. Just, you've got to understand these things. This is how the brain works. The brain just forgets this in the middle stage. You can try and fight against it and to say it's not true, but like this does happen. It happens for me. I'm sure it happens for you as well. So you got to have more breaks to have more start times and more end times. So pick a duration of time that's consistent for you. For most people, it's between 25 minutes and let's say 70. About 70. I think you can strain it towards 90. After 90 minutes, almost every brain is a bit burnt out. If you're studying deeply, around the hour mark is going to be the threshold. But be consistent with it. And I'd say in your break time after, try and write down what you've learned. Try it with your studying. Try and after you've done a study session, write down what you remember. And it's really, really effective. Like I said, I write down what I've learned from a book after I've been reading for 50 minutes. And often I fill a page with all the things I was thinking about. And it helps it stick into my brain. So use these techniques. You're going to fight against forgetting, the forgetful curve. So space out your learning. Do repetition, rather than cramming. Cramming's going to make you forget. And then have regular breaks. Regular breaks, you've got good start times, good finish times. Narrow that forgetting range in the middle and try and remember going forward. So if you guys enjoyed this video, if you did, make sure you smash the like button so that the algorithm likes you and you know to get more videos from me. Also, if you're looking to work on your mindset, I've got a free quiz in the description. Click on that and it'll tell you what level your poker mindset is and I'll give you some tips onto how to take it to the next level. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate your time. There's plenty more coming from me very soon.